Heading east, Tucson to Austin. What they say is true. Sometimes the storm's a deluge, pouring down problems. Passing through Benson brings Western Swing Star to mind. Wheels keep on rolling. Dragoon Whatnot Shop. Drylands are disappearing. Dancing Dust Devil. New introductions. Thank God we're all so different, Grandma used to say. Defending something. Country music is not bad. Y'all don't even know. Pass through El Paso. Cross over the Rio Grande. Glare up border wall. Gliding through mountains on level tracks made of steel. Bless the engineers. On eastbound train, I'm marveling at the world, taking it all in. Fueling in freight yard, somewhere outside El Paso, time seems to stand still. Valentine, Texas. The air is sweeter around here. Creosote perfume. Approaching Alpine. Fresh air or cigarette stop. Choose your adventure. Take me to Texas. Take me to the honky tonk. Take me down the line. Willie's on the road. Neil's journeying through the past. Linda's still willin'. Steel locomotive carries queer anarchist east, hot rage in her heart. Condemn genocide, fight like hell for the living while they are still here. San Antonio, bumper cars in the night. Grandma lost her bags. Outside of Austin, ripping through green corridor, tacos on my mind. Pain as in heartache, as in unfinished stories, as in memory. Opposable thumbs, create something from nothing, or else atrophy. All right, now we're heading west. Austin back to Tucson. On a sunny day, summer peels away layers, strips us to the core. Glide over water, gain speed slowly but surely, grease these iron wheels. Sipping well whiskey on San Antone layover, uncomfortably numb. Sparkles in the sand, sandstone castles in the sky, salt and sandalwood. Sleep in little ball, curse my neighbor on his phone, dream in short movies. Marathon, Texas, makes me contemplate running, maybe not that far. In vast green landscape, there's no evidence of man, but for the fences. Thinking about something, trying not to think at all, testing willpower. Can't get off the train in Lordsburg, New Mexico. Fresh air's for suckers. In arid country, agaves stand tall and strong, blooming in rainbows. Daytime moon in view, sinking low in western skies, nighttime memory. Dusty mauve mesas rise out of sea of sagebrush toward waning gibbous. Under autumn sun, tree branches coated in ice sparkle like diamonds. Middle of nowhere. There ain't no cell reception, only poetry. Banana yucca and mountains beyond mountains welcome me back home. Thank you.
There's some religious themes. There's some talk about suicide and some talk about transphobia and one use of the F slur. This first poem has some religious themes. It's called Patricide, which means killing your dad. I have often felt all that lies within the well. Lower me by the rope, strung tight around my waist, that sweet surrender. I have never found myself a woman under God, an exception to the rule, laid bare before it all, my fingers pressed tight against this life, scratching into the skin of another, a scar for love, a mark of devotion. And as I run my teeth against the skin of the apple, I am reminded of Eve, the beauty, the sinner. The divine feminine bites deep, juice dripping down her chin, teeth sinking into tender flesh. Against God, against nature, against Father, do not let go, dig deeper, tear skin from bone, violent against her ways, the feminine ideal ripped from her body, the blood pools at her feet, the original sin. To act against the ways of a woman, soft or tender or desperate or begging, to indulge the snake wrapped tight around my ankle, the violence beneath my bruised skin, the blade runs deep. The roots of my family tree drag me into the mud, the words and ways of my father reflected in every action or every syllable, his face in the dirt, in the sky, to the end. And when his body lies twisted and broken, and when my teeth are stained and divine, and when the blood runs down my legs, and when the tree is burning, and when I stand mighty above it all, who will they worship? There you go.
This first one is called The Fire. Yes! So, yes. When I was in high school, my whole house burned to the ground. And this shaped my reality. And I found that it also, it shapes everything, right? So it shapes a lot of my writing, and I have mentions of fires and ash and things. And so I wrote this poem kind of a while ago, but I've never performed it before, so it's like old new shit. And I'm just gonna get into it, and then maybe I'll talk a little bit more about it afterwards. Okay. The Fire. We are not the stories, the fire screamed at me while I watched the glass windows of my bedroom implode. Heavy smoke clouds like vicious words forced out of a desperate mouth tumbled towards me. I stood numb, witnessing the storm, knowing I should wake from this nightmare any minute now. But this time, the fire wasn't that reoccurring dream. I better tell the skate rink I won't be coming in tomorrow. 1. The fire did more than eat our home. It digested memories too. My childhood attached to Star Wars action figures, magazine collaged walls, methodically created photo albums, and thick CD books melted together. Years later, making it hard to remember those details of who I was, rather who I was told I was, an identity packaged into boxes of toys, cabinets of homework assignments, messy closets, and dirty dolls falling apart. Plastic friends melted too. Their true forms revealed, my reality gutted, lonely but relieved, my assumptions validated in the aftermath of ash. 2. The fire exposed the bones, the hidden truths, the raw, the real. I didn't know at the time this is what I was craving all along. The fire taught me a practice of release. It showed me the difference between physical form and energy, seeing the material realm so clearly. 3. The fire burned the ropes I tied around my own body, keeping me safe and scared. Released, I was free, exposing my power, a witch that couldn't be set on fire. That's the fire. Thank you. So like I mentioned in here that the fire was a reoccurring dream, and like I'm not lying, y'all. We moved into that house when I was 5 years old, and the day we moved in, I remember going into my bedroom, and there was the window, and then the roof is right attached to the window. And like I had this thought like, oh, this will be perfect if there's ever a fire. I can like crawl out and be on the roof and jump off the roof or say, I don't know. And then as living in this house, I would have these reoccurring dreams of a fire happening and having to wake my family up and get everybody out of the house. And so anyways, the day of the fire, my parents were both in California for my uncle's wedding, and it was me and my cousin. And that morning we took my siblings to the zoo, and on our way home the fire had already started. And so essentially I got everybody out of the house and did exactly what I needed to. Even our cats, I let the cats out because they're outdoor cats. Like, we lost everything, but we didn't lose each other, so yeah.
I'm going to be reading 5 poems tonight, and I think most of them are stories. In Madeline's poetry, I think it made an impression on me, a very strong one, because as queer people, to the public, we usually are boxed in, and many people cannot comprehend that we have multitudes within us. We have more things that we care about. We have zillions of things that we think about and cannot stop thinking about sometimes. So to me, poetry is a way to stop thinking about things. So the first story or poem that I'm going to read to you.
The train's coming.
Interrupted by a train. It's called Planet on Other Stars. How would alien treat their own kinds? Evolutionary miracle or endless struggle for more? Planets on other stars unknown 30 years ago. Mother was 20, country war ravaged, dirt poor, small village. She went to Saigon, see a movie for the first time. Even thinking about it is a privilege. On the day we do find strange life out there, I will be missing my grandma, her garden soil, warm and moist. Be blissful, I'm not alone in space. So easy to tunnel vision in the ivory tower mission, thinking about planets, stardust, and chemicals of life out there. But never forget where you're from. Remember to have a place to call home. Carry with you love and trauma of your family, soil that bored you, tropics, plants, leaves, humidity. One day you will find beaming earths, flora, fauna, in your elusive search for planets around other stars. And now you'll have more reason to feel small. In eternity, massive, cosmo unending, to not be alone, stargazing. Thank you. So as Sam already told you, I'm from Vietnam. I was born and raised in Ho Chi Minh City. I was born in the north of the country, but then my mom took me down when I was like 3 months old, so that's what I usually say. I was born and raised in Ho Chi Minh City. Technically not the truth, but half truths. Woo! We're fucking cool. We beat America. Yes, France, America, and China. In that order. No, I'm kidding. And I guess I've been here for 2 years, and the first reading that I've been to ever in Tucson was in Splinter Collective. It was a year ago, as an audience. And it touched me so much to find a community here, because to me, I never feel at home anywhere. I guess that's the function of, being queer and just being weird in general. And to me, it's very important for me to find home wherever I am. And so the next poem is about that. This poem is dedicated to home, anywhere in the world, but is also dedicated to Mexico City. Estrellas en las ciudades. They have in common what is not present. Stars in CDMX, bad taste, clean air, sane rush hour, or water from prehistoric lake, an anchor to pass time immemorial. But there are stars on the street, hawkering, flipping, tacos de camarón, queso tote, onions, cilantro, salsa. On bicicletas, carry 2-meter boxes, on sidewalks selling everything that can be bought, on the faces of affectionate lovers kissing in Zocalo. On the left, on the right, on Reforma, on Insurgentes, on Eje Central, on Autos, Metropus, Gambi, on La Tren Suburbano. What is common is that of the Idolite Pass. Estrellas en la CDMX. Look for past lights of their ancestors, mighty Toltecs, Mayans, Aztecs, doing archaeology when digging power, sewer, metro lines, traverse the underworld, the lakebed soil, uncovering bones, potteries, altars, pyramids. The 20th century metro traveled to the 15th century monuments, Panchtiklan, Miscoac, Tlatelolco, Nezahualcóyotl. La Casta Raza carry us down the underground world of segregation, of brown skin, self-selection. It is our way to become Chilangos. We cannot allow the bitter reality, Periférico the barrier, Santa Fe the divider. I'm not fooling anyone. I'm just a fossil Chilango. Tongues doesn't trill my R's. Just trying to find what is half the earth away in my birthplace. Home, familia, canopy evergreens, more home, street of life, alleys of multitudes, mouthfeel wrapped in banana leaves, the streets of playground, chessboards, strolling grandmas, resistance, abundance, resilience. My cities, my people, estrellas en las ciudades, stars not visible looking up, but looking around at faces. Thank you. Okay.
I learned early that secrets must remain locked in the hearts they bleed from. Shame was engraved into my shadows and fear became my armor. Who am I to live in my truth? There was nothing written to say I deserved to be loved in the binaries I lived between, so I chose to pick the side that seemed to rest without misery and second guessing. The side that never walks with shameful shadows. A method of protection to pretend I got everything I needed in my younger days. I had food, water, and a place to lay my head. I always had shelter and was never met with a threat. I am blessed, to say the least. My feelings were only tangible in my night terrors. I preferred to sleepwalk through my days trying to find a human vessel that could translate until those beautiful girls started to make me suicidal. I lived in denial that my heart could hurt that bad. I was supposed to be standing in the fire putting the team on my back. Internalized expectations from songs that confirmed my absent validation. Even then, I chose to keep the secrets that were making my heart bleed. My inner child was malnourished. My ego was gluttonous. spoiled, fragile. A straight up asshole ruled by the emotions that I only addressed in my daydreams. I chose dissonance when I needed conviction that I was and am worthy. Being nonchalant is overrated. Plus, I'm too cheesy to play it cool. I'm holding space for you. My catch and release technique for feelings was never effective. Holding on too tightly to things that weren't meant to be held captive in the first place. Release control and let love flow. Still, holding space for you to help me write a sequel to our love lives, but rushing only leaves us tongue-tied with regret. So I don't test the waters you haven't revealed to me. I've drowned too many times in lakes that I thought were ponds. And I know you've had your share of issuing a respawn to a suicide mission. There's triggers and nuances that neither of us knew existed. Rewriting reactions saturated with trauma is a grind that's only fruitful with patience and time. I'm not here to make you feel like another woman in line. I'm holding space. For the fears that God didn't give you to face alone. For a friendship that's prioritized over possession. For a connection that rejects confinement to the physical world. I'm holding space. For parts of you that you didn't think had room to breathe, fresh air for your daydreams, no more catch and release. I'll jump in and find you in the ocean. She leaves a space between her syllables that can only be understood by individuals with a certain level of confidence. A confidence that rests like honey in a warm room, smooth and consistent, leaving traces of its presence on every surface of uncertainty. It's in the time that she takes to say good morning and good night that you'll find an agreement that doesn't need to be said out loud. Today, she chose you. And who knows if tomorrow will sound the same. But stand firm in the truth that it's not easy to reign supreme in her mind. And if that tiny voice in your head says you've made it into her heart, give thanks. She may never say those exact words because it's in the way she says your name. She'll make you food to show she'll fight for you and hug you tighter when she knows she's right for you. Others have lacked intuition to provide the type of soil that can nourish her roots. They've suffocated her with sunshine. Not the refreshing type after a soft rain. The kind that stings when you've laid in wait too long, staring, wishing for a cloud of aloe, to soothe the burns from another's lack of patience. Seeds don't sow overnight. She wants to see if you trust that her gardens give back, and that she speaks louder than you think. If you silence your ego, you'll understand what she really believes. She believes that love is real and she's deserving of the purest of it. She believes there is magic in the subtleties between realism and daydreams. She is the sweetest thing that Miss Lauryn Hill was talking about. Her aura leaves lyricists with cotton mouth, forced to learn a new language to say I love you. If you're frustrated, remember, the purest of love forces us all to dig deep. The spaces between her syllables reveal intentions. They cause waves and waters that want to rush to the shore. She wants to know that when there's nothing left to say, the rooms won't feel empty. Any throat can eject an I love you. But not everyone's love is filling. Not everyone's love seeks to touch the horizons of her being. How quickly they forget that she's not a goddess. She's a human. She leaves spaces to understand your interpretations. Riddle me this, lover boy. What do you really see when she's naked?